The NFL offseason must be upon us officially because a wild quarterback rumor just surfaced. We're going to talk about it next here on 4 Verts. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into 4 Verts, where we talk about the NFL and college football every day, mostly NFL-centric this time of year. And listen, you guys have been killing it. Want to give you a round of applause. We crossed 7,000 subscribers overnight here on the channel. If you want daily NFL content, the latest news, rumors, draft, and free agency buzz, we're going to be here every single day, so hit that sub button. Let's get to 8,000 subs. Okay, Trevor Lawrence to the Steelers? Yeah, we're going to talk about this rumor/report here on today's show that apparently Pittsburgh's brass has inquired with Jacksonville about trying to acquire Trevor Lawrence. Ryan Burr with the report saying that the Steelers have made inquiries to Jaguars about a trade for quarterback Trevor Lawrence. This directly comes from the horse's mouth in the Jags organization. Wow. Wow is right. This is such an insane report, and I'm not saying Burr is completely making it up. I'm sure he heard something, but I would guess it's not great information just based on things we'll kind of go through here. But I don't even know where to start. For one, the Jags don't even have a GM right now. They're interviewing general managers candidates. They just hired a head coach in Liam Cohen. He raved about Trevor Lawrence when talking about taking the job. And most importantly, the financial ramifications from Jacksonville's standpoint are so unbelievable that it really just can't even happen, if I'm being completely honest. If they were to trade Trevor Lawrence, which if they did, it would be pre-June 1st. It's not like they're going to wake up in mid-June and trade him as a post-June 1. It'd be a $100 million dead cap hit this year. Now, in a world where they post-June 1 traded him, it would actually be less than $20 million this year, but it would still be $100 million over years to come. This is just not like I know we saw Denver do what they did with Russell Wilson, where it was like 30-something, 50-something million this year, 30 next year. Like, not great, obviously. $100 million in 1 year, it's just not going to happen. Remember, Trevor Lawrence signed a 5-year, $275 million contract with, I believe, $200 million guarantee. That doesn't start until this year. It hasn't even started yet. Now, you could say it's a bad contract for Jacksonville. They should try to get out of it. I agree, but there is no getting out of it. Like, if they trade him, there will be major penalties. So they are kind of stuck based on his structure for at least 2 years. 2 years from now, 2027 offseason, it would be a $44 million dead cap hit if they cut him. Right now, it's $100 million. Next year, it's $88. Like, they can't trade or cut him. It's just not even feasible. Now, Ryan Burr did mention this later on as well, and I think this is the more important point to discuss here, that the Steelers inquiring about Trevor Lawrence speaks volumes to the Steelers' unwillingness to just run it back with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I don't believe the Jags have any interest in dealing their guy. Good on Omar, Steelers GM, for asking. Highly doubt the Steelers starting quarterback in 25 was on the roster in 2024. So here's the takeaway from Jacksonville's standpoint. They're not trading Trevor Lawrence because even if they hate the guy, it is not financially feasible. So that's number one. I also don't think they're giving up hope on Trevor right now. I think the bigger takeaway here, and I'll spew on this just for a few moments, is I do think, and Jake Glazer said this the other day, he doesn't think that Steelers are bringing back Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I think they're going to pursue every avenue. I think they're going to look at some trades. Matthew Stafford could be a more realistic one. I think they're going to obviously look at draft avenues. Could they trade up for a Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders? Obviously free agents as well, beyond their two own guys in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And they should. They have not gotten good enough quarterback play since peak Ben Roethlisberger. And they're not going to compete for deep playoff runs until they improve at the quarterback position. So I hope they did inquire, because they need to improve at that position, but it's just not realistic to get Trevor Lawrence because Jacksonville financially just literally can't do it. It's just not going to happen, at least not this offseason. What say you? Who will be the Steelers quarterback in 2025? Let me know down in the comment section below. I got a quarterback carousel prediction video coming out very, very soon. Probably tomorrow, but for sure at some point this weekend. If not, I predict who the Steelers starter will be. So stay tuned for that, and let us know in the comments who you think it'll be next season. Maybe it'll be this guy, Aaron Rodgers, to be released. The Jets tweeted it out with an article and everything. So this is done. They're going to cut him. Ian Rapoport says it'll likely be a post-June 1st cut or designation, which means he can't officially be released until the start of the new league year. He also tweeted a little bit later, right before we started to film, so I'll mention this real quick, that based on the Jets' actions, they can allow Rodgers to speak to other teams, which I would assume they would do. Again, he couldn't sign until the start of the new league year if it's a post-June 1 cut, which just sounds like that's what it's going to be. If it was a pre-June 1st cut, he could actually sign immediately, but that has not taken place, at least not at this point in time. I think this is the right move for the Jets. Now, I would probably just pre-June 1 cut it, just rip the Band-Aid, take the dead cap this year, $49 million. I get it's a lot, but you're probably not contending in year one anyway. But it sounds like they want more cap flexibility this year, so maybe they'll go be aggressive for a quarterback, which we'll talk about in a second. But I just think Aaron Glenn, he's a culture setter guy. He doesn't want Rodgers lingering. He doesn't want Rodgers meddling in what they're doing, over-the-hill quarterback who creates distractions. We saw the reports over the last couple of days that if he was going to be back, they weren't going to let him do the Pat McAfee show and all this stuff. And look, you could say that they shouldn't be allowed to control him like that. And okay, fair enough. But if Rodgers didn't agree, they have the power to just cut him, which is what they've done here. And if I'm Aaron Glenn, I would have done the same thing. Hey, we're just going to start fresh. Rodgers, at this point in his career, is not leading us to a Super Bowl, so let's just go in a new direction. And that is what they're doing. And the question I have with it being a post-June 1 cut, if that's for sure the route they go, that's not official at this point, it does make me wonder if they're going to swing for a quarterback somewhere, because the thought would be if you pre-June 1 cut it, just kind of, hey, go with some kind of cheap bridge or even just go with Tyrod Taylor as the starter this year. But if they want more cap flexibility this year, maybe they will consider, trying to bring in a big-name quarterback. You look at some names out there. Matthew Stafford, there's been some trade buzz there. If the Rams are willing to trade him, I got to think the Jets would be interested. Could the Sam Darnold reunion be possible? That seems unlikely. But the only thing that's the same since Darnold left is the owner. Everything else is different. Coaches, front office, it's all new people. So could there be a way where they would reunite in New York? I tend to doubt it, but who knows? Aaron Glenn coached against Darnold twice this year. Has to be pretty impressed with what he was able to do for Minnesota. Could they go after a Justin Fields or Russell Wilson? Those would be more of probably the one-year Band-Aid routes. Kirk Cousins, an interesting one. I put likely free agent because technically they could try to trade for him, but he has a no-trade clause, so doubt he would bypass that. Derek Carr, trade/free agent. I think he ends up getting cut, so you likely wouldn't have to trade for him. Same with Kirk. I think he likely ends up getting cut. And then obviously you got guys like Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders in the draft. So there are different avenues for the Jets to pursue a quarterback this offseason. Maybe they just want the cap space to build up their roster, right, with key free agents, and then they go after a quarterback next year. And they could do that because Tyrod Taylor, I still think, fits the mold of a bridge quarterback. He could be the starter this year. His cap hit is less than $7 million. They've got Jordan Travis, who guided Florida State to a 13-0 season last year. Remember, they were the college football playoff snub. Maybe he gets a look. Like, you start the season with Tyrod, and if you're not winning, maybe you give Jordan Travis a look, and then the next year you just draft a quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but the post-June 1 designation does kind of have my head spinning. Like, do they have a trick up their sleeves at quarterback? I don't know what that would look like. I don't know if someone we're not thinking of would emerge. Like, would a guy like Kyler Murray become available? I doubt it, but it's something interesting that could spark up here in the next couple of weeks or a month or so. All right, what say you? Is cutting Aaron Rodgers the right decision? Why for yes and for no? I think it is. With the first-year head coach, new GM, just cut the Band-Aid off. It's not worth it. I think it makes sense to move on. I think it makes sense for Aaron, too. If he wants to keep playing, go somewhere else. This Jets thing has just not worked. I think there will be a few teams interested. So we'll see what his future looks like. He could just retire. That's certainly on the board as well. And obviously we'll see what direction the Jets go in now that they are a team that could add a quarterback. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of 4 Verts. Again, thank you so much for helping us cross 7,000 subscribers. We're going to keep the train rolling here, keep the content flowing. So hit that sub button, share this show with a friend, and we'll see you guys soon.